Now, let's go, Roger shouts, and they push against the barricade, forcing the door open just enough to slip through. As they step outside, they can see the zombies lurching toward the flames. The fire ignites nearby debris, creating a smokescreen that temporarily obscures their view. Let's fall back. We need to regroup and come up with a better plan, Francine calls, leading the way back toward the mall. As they make their way back inside, the group feels a mix of relief and exhaustion. They close the door behind them, barricading it once again as the flames continue to draw the zombies away from the entrance. We need to assess the situation, Steven says, panting. We can't keep relying on fire. We need a more permanent solution to hold them back. Maybe we can create a diversion using sound, Peter suggests, remembering the alarms they had used before. If we can get some of the electronics working, we can draw them away from the entrances. Francine nods. That could buy us time while we continue fortifying the inside. Lisa, who has been watching her daughter closely, speaks up. But we can't keep risking our lives. We need to find a way out of this situation, not just survive. We'll find a way out, Roger assures her, his voice steady. But for now, we need to focus on surviving. Every day we live is another day we can figure this out. As night falls, the group settles into a new routine, creating watch shifts and discussing potential plans for the next day. The sense of community grows stronger as they lean on one another for support, sharing stories of their past lives in an effort to maintain morale. Yet despite their efforts to stay positive, the weight of the impending danger hangs over them like a dark cloud. As night descends on the mall, the sounds of the undead are punctuated by the crackling fire still burning outside, flickering shadows dancing across the walls. The group gathers around a makeshift table in the food court, preparing to divide responsibilities for the night. Steven takes the lead, addressing everyone with a firm but reassuring tone. We need to establish watch shifts. Given the volume of zombies outside, we can't afford to let our guard down. Agreed, Roger adds, his voice steady. I'll take the first shift. Francine, you can join me. I'll take the second, Peter volunteers, glancing at the clock. That'll give us a little time to rest before we need to check on things again. I'll take the third, Lisa says, looking determined. I want to keep an eye on my daughter, and I can manage a few hours. Charlie and I can cover the last shift, Steven suggests, glancing at Charlie, who nods eagerly. That way, we'll have the first watch set up for morning. We'll rotate every couple of hours to keep fresh. As the group finalizes their plan, the atmosphere shifts from one of fear to a sense of camaraderie. Each person understands the risks they face, and the shared responsibility strengthens their resolution. As the first watch begins, Roger and Francine settle into their positions near the entrance, armed with makeshift weapons and a flashlight. The flickering light illuminates the walls of the food court, creating a cozy illusion against the horrors lurking outside. I've got to admit, I never thought I'd be in a situation like this, Francine says, breaking the silence. I used to complain about my job, but now I'd give anything to be back in my office, dealing with paperwork. Roger chuckles softly. I think we all would. But look at us. We're still standing. That's something. A sudden crash from the entrance startles them, and they both tense up, gripping their weapons tightly. What was that? Francine whispers, her heart racing. Just the wind, I hope, Roger replies, though his voice betrays his uncertainty. He directs the flashlight toward the entrance, scanning for any signs of movement. The shadows dance menacingly, and they remain on high alert, but after a few tense moments, the noises subside. Maybe we should check the monitors again, Francine suggests, recalling the security system they had discovered earlier. We could see what's happening outside without putting ourselves at risk. Roger nods. Good idea. Let's move quietly. They slip through to the security office, where they find the bank of monitors flickering, showing various views of the mall. Some cameras display empty hallways, while others reveal groups of zombies milling about in the parking lot, drawn to the fire. Looks like our distraction is working, Francine notes, relieved to see the zombies drawn away from the entrances. But not for long, Roger warns. We need to plan for when that fire dies down. More will come if they realize it's just smoke. They take turns monitoring the footage, discussing possible escape routes and strategies for the next supply run. The time passes slowly, each minute stretching into what feels like an eternity. Eventually, Peter and Lisa arrive for their watch. How's it looking? Peter asks as he steps into the room. Zombies are distracted by the fire, but we need to be ready for when it dies down, Roger explains, exchanging glances with Francine. Thanks for the heads up, Lisa replies, her expression grim. I can't believe how many there are out there. As Roger and Francine prepare to step outside, the tension remains palpable. They hand over the flashlight and weapons, taking a moment to gather themselves. Stay safe, Francine says softly, her eyes meeting Peter's. Always, he replies with a reassuring smile, though the weight of the situation hangs heavily in the air. Roger and Francine find a quiet corner of the food court and try to rest while the sounds of the night fill the air. It's difficult to find peace, but exhaustion overtakes them, and they close their eyes, even for a moment. As they drift off, the distant moans of zombies seem to fade, replaced by the sound of a child giggling somewhere in the mall. It's a reminder of the life that once was and the innocence that still lingers. Hours later, a sudden noise jolts Roger awake. He sits up, heart racing, instinctively reaching for his weapon. What was that? He asks, looking around frantically. Francine stirs beside him, eyes wide with confusion. I don't know. It came from the main hall. Roger rises to his feet, moving toward the entrance. He gestures for Francine to follow as they step carefully toward the noise, keeping low and silent. As they reach the edge of the hallway, they peek around the corner to see a group of zombies gathered around the remnants of a shop, pushing against a pile of debris. It seems a few of them have found a way into the mall from a side entrance they hadn't secured properly. Look, Roger whispers, pointing at the gaping hole where the zombies are pouring through. We need to seal that up. Francine nods, urgency coursing through her. Let's grab whatever we can find. They rush back to the food court, gathering supplies, a few metal racks, heavy boxes, and anything that can be used to barricade the entrance. As they work, the noise from the zombies grows louder, the sound of their gurgling voices filling the air. Faster, Roger urges as they load debris against the opening. If they get through, we're done for. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, they manage to wedge a heavy cart against the entrance just as a few zombies stumble through the opening. They push against the cart, grunting with effort. Hold it, Francine cries, pushing against it with all her strength. Just a little more, Roger yells, muscles straining as they force the cart into place. The zombies claw at the gap, but they're unable to make any progress. Is that enough? Francine gasps, glancing back at the horde, which is growing in number. For now, Roger says, breathing heavily. But we need to notify the others. They race back to the security office, bursting through the door. Peter, Lisa, wake up, Roger shouts, urgency in his voice. Peter jolts awake, his eyes wide with panic. What's happening? Zombies are coming in through the side entrance. Francine explains quickly. We need to reinforce it before they get through. Let's go, Peter says, grabbing his weapon and leading the way. Lisa follows closely behind, her expression fierce. As they reach the main hall, the sound of the undead grows louder, a chorus of groans echoing through the building. Is everyone ready? Roger asks, assessing the situation. We have to act fast. They quickly form a line, ready to confront the encroaching horde. Stephen and Charlie join them, having woken to the commotion. We heard the noise, Stephen says, determination etched on his face. What's going on? Zombies are breaking in, Roger explains, taking a deep breath. We have to hold them back while we reinforce the entrance. Let's do this, Charlie says, his voice steady. As the group rallies together, they brace themselves for the incoming onslaught. The zombies push against the barricade, and the noise escalates as they claw and gnash their teeth. On my count, Roger shouts, raising his weapon high. 3, 2, 1, push. They brace against the cart, using their combined strength to hold it in place as the zombies press harder against it. We can't let them break through, Lisa yells, adrenaline coursing through her veins. With each surge from the horde, the survivors push back with all their might, desperation and determination fueling their actions. They fight against the tide, desperately holding the line. Amid the chaos, Stephen glances at the monitors, noticing something unexpected. Look, he shouts, pointing at a camera view that displays a faint light in the distance, a vehicle approaching. As that, Francine starts, hope flickering in her chest. It looks like it, Stephen confirms. If they get here, we might have a chance to escape. We can't let them down. Roger yells over the noise, determination igniting in his voice. We have to hold until they arrive. With renewed energy, the group focuses their efforts, pushing back against the undead with everything they have. They can feel the barricade beginning to buckle, but they refuse to give in. As the vehicle draws nearer, the noise from the zombies intensifies. They're breaking through. Francine cries out, panic rising in her voice. Keep pushing, Roger shouts, his muscles burning as he fights to hold the barricade in place. Suddenly, the entrance door shudders violently, and the barricade begins to crack under the pressure. The group fights harder. The barricade creaks, the metal groaning under the relentless force of the undead. Roger's arms shake with exhaustion, but he refuses to let go. Beside him, Francine's breath comes in ragged gasps, her eyes wide with fear. The others, too, are straining against the overwhelming force, their faces set with grim determination. Just a little longer, Stephen shouts, trying to keep their spirits up. Help is on the way, but the barricade is giving way. One of the metal racks slips, and a zombie's arm pushes through the gap, reaching hungrily for anything it can grab. Lisa screams, batting the arm away with her weapon, but more follow, the horde sensing victory.